Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to another flight today. We're at the Paderborn Lippstadt, excuse my pronunciation, airport in Germany. Now this was a free with one of the Microsoft updates. I think it was on the last one, I can't remember, but I know it's free. It's a nice little regional airport, so we're basically flying a Lufthansa flight on a Airbus A320NEO. We're going from here to Belfast City Airport. So there's a few additions on this that I can show off on this video. Just get everything set up here. There's external power, get that on. Align. Navigational aids aligned and ready. I want to get into the air as quickly as possible. Get the fuel pump switched on. Provide a bit of heat for the cabin. Try and get it about 21 degrees or thereabouts. We'll get the APU switched on, ready for taxiing, and turn on the beacon. I'm not sure if the beacon light is the first one you're supposed to switch on. I can't remember. I just seem to remember that from watching another video. Get the emergency light switched on. And make a few tweaks here. Let's have a look at the onboard computer. I'm just going to set that to 80, flying at cruising altitude 360. Turn on the align. Bring up the performance page. Take off on flaps 1. So there's our V1, V2 and V3 settings. That's all decided by the onboard computer. Get some lights up so we can see what we're doing. I think it looks better as well, just have some of these lights on. I'm going to turn off the co-pilot's screens because I think that improves. I've heard that it makes a slight improvement to performance and frame rates, and that's, as any flight simmer will know, that's all important in this game because it does suffer a bit with the graphics. Yeah. So we've got about 7 minutes until we're ready. Oh, wrong one. There we go. APU bleed. So that's up and running. And you can hear that in the background. Here's the airport. It's a lovely little regional airport, and I'm sure it was free. I know I didn't pay for it. I think it was free with one of the Microsoft Flight Simulator updates. I think you have to go into the marketplace and add it and upload it or download it and install it yourself. I don't think it does it automatically. So we've got an initial altitude of 10,000. Got the voice of the ATC voice off because it does well, it can give conflicting information. It's just a bit annoying. So we'll switch on the tower, ready for takeoff. The sun has just come up here. I'm going to have to work out, I'm going to have to spend time looking at these camera shortcuts because I still haven't got the hang of it. There's a few buttons I know I push, insert and end I think, which does a couple of changes, a couple of camera settings, but I need to spend time on that and work out the keyboard shortcuts for that, especially for the drone. Now this is what I want. This is a free download, a free edition that I added, which is Pushback Helper, and I'll put the link below. And this is brilliant, this little device. It just pops up if you activate it before you start the program. Push the page up button if you want to bring it on screen or make it disappear from your screen, and you can control the tug, the jetway, the fuel, all the stuff that you would expect to have to go through ATC to sort out. This little thing does it all. So this is the first time I've used it. So let's see how close I can get to the line for taxiing. And you can control the speed as well. There's a little slider bar there, and you can control the speed of the tug. So we'll just go straight back, I think. And then when the line's about halfway through the plane, I'll put it back into right again. Too soon. Yeah, that looks about right, I reckon. Stop it. Put the parking brake on, and the tug will disappear. Let's have a look. Oh, that's not bad. I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. Looks like it's right on the line to me. Yeah, that's good. Gosh, that's so much easier than having to go through the ATC. So let's just have a little look around. I might try and see if I can get a thumbnail here. It looks pretty good. It's a nice little airport actually. It's been well modelled, I have to say. And you know, it's good considering it's free as well, of course. I'll take anything if it's free. Right, let's get the seat belts on. Make sure everybody's strapped in. Should have done that before. Taxi's on. Turn on all the other lighting apart from the takeoff. I think we're ready to start the engines. Just switch that to start. Engine 2. Set the speed brakes, lock my door, don't want any intruders. Get the flaps down for takeoff. Flaps 1. Engine 1. Again, I'm using unlimited fuel here. That's the speed brake, or the parking brake off, so we're ready to roll. Quite a short taxiway, as you would expect from a regional airport. Oh, this is the FlyByWire A320 as well. I haven't done I know there's a new update, I haven't done that yet, so but this is so different to the aircraft when the game first came out late last year. Well, it was basically unflyable, but the guys at FlyByWire have done an incredible job on this mod. Again, I'll put the link to this in the description. I'll put the link to the Pushback Helper as well. I'll put that in the description as well. Both of which are free, of course. Okay, let's just hold short, and we've got clearance for takeoff. So let's just get the aircraft ready. Get the lights on. Flaps are 1, so they're ready to go. Just do the takeoff checklist. And ping the cabin.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff.
Okay, let's see if we can keep this nice and centered on the runway. This game, for some reason, even though there's virtually no wind, the plane always seems to want to veer off to the right for some bizarre reason. So let's see if we can hold it as centered as we can. So take off, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. It wasn't too bad, actually. I'm pretty happy with that takeoff. I have done better. Okay. Autopilot on, it's virtually straight out. Right hand turn. Speed brake off. Here's our right hand turn. Whoa, wow, 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 wow. Oh no. That's way too steep. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. That's gone crazy. Yep, that is definitely not supposed to happen. What on earth happened there? Back to climb. I don't know what happened there. I haven't seen that for a long time. This plane even has a safety feature built in that it can't, as far as I know, it can't turn greater than a 30-degree angle. But that was virtual. That was nearly 90. That was like 50% or something. That was crazy. I have no idea what happened there. I'll put that down to being a glitch with the game. That hasn't happened for a long time. That was one of the main problems with this aircraft when it first came out. As soon as you switched on autopilot, it just had this ridiculous bank. Okay, let's get the lights off. We don't need the APU. Switch that off. To standard. Right, we're on our way. Seems to be behaving itself now. It's following the flight path, I'm glad to say. It does veer off sometimes. I mean, I've known that to happen, where it seems to get lost and veer off the flight path, and you sort of have to gear it, steer it back on course again. That banking, that hasn't happened for a long time. So here you can see the route that we're taking over Germany into the Netherlands, over the North Sea, and into the north of England, just north of East Anglia there. I put the weather on a few clouds, I think it is, just for the scenery's sake, just because I wanted to see a bit of scenery. So we're not using live weather. I still haven't got the hang of these, the shortcuts for the cameras. I'm going to have to really sit down and have a look at that, because I know all the cameras have different keyboard shortcuts, and I need to work out what they are. Sorry if this is really annoying. I'm just pushing different buttons here to see what happens. Well, let's run through these external cameras just to get all the different views. Undercarriage view, nice. Wing view, another wing view. See the flex, tail. Passenger view. Oh, there's a good range of views there anyway. Sorry about that. Right, we'll leave the cameras for now. Let's concentrate on something else, shall we? Release the passengers. There we get 22 in the cabin, 21 in the cabin, in the main cabin. That's all right. Oh, I forgot to turn the strobes on. Flight plan. So there we go. So we've got 425 nautical miles. UTC of 9 o'clock for arrival. Sorry, 8:59 has just changed. So what time is it now? It's 7:44, so an hour and a quarter. And 2,500 for the approach into Belfast City. Okay, so we'll just continue this, and I'll see you when we're descending and getting ready to get into Belfast City. So here we are, we're over the north of England. And you can see the remainder of our flight plan there. We're going to cross out into the Irish Sea, cross the Isle of Man, head north up the Ards Peninsula and into approach Belfast City via Belfast Lough. So I'm going to get the plane ready to descend. I'd rather get down to a manageable height again, so that you're not nose diving the airport. So let's get the commence the descent, and we can take it. It doesn't have to be. We can take our time with it. Okay, so the other two add-ons on this particular flight is Belfast City Airport, which is a free add-on that you can download, and also Belfast Scenery, the city itself. You can download free scenery. I'll put the links below. So this is the first time I'll have seen them or used them, so it'll be interesting to see how they look. We'll have a quick scout around whenever we arrive and see what the scenery is like. Okay, let's do this. Let's start our descent. Hear the engines spooling down. We can reduce our descent rate a bit. I think we're coming down a bit too fast. I probably started the descent far too early, so we can we'll reduce our rate of descent, so we're not coming into Belfast too low. I've still got it on managed speed, but I'll probably change that as we get closer to the airport, just to get us down to the approach and landing speeds. Yes, I'm probably coming in way too early. Reducing altitude. Should have left it for a bit. Incidentally, the livery that is there, you can get it on the... It's a free download again. The livery's Mega Pack, I think you call it. Which has got loads and loads of liveries for... the A320 and the 747 and the Dreamliner as well. Definitely worth having a look at. Right, so got the APU on, ready for landing to give us a bit of power if there's none available at the gate. Although probably a bit early with that as well, but anyway. Just reduced our rate of descent a little bit more. The plane will automatically reduce speed once it gets below 10,000 feet. It automatically reduces the speed to 250 knots. There's wind farm below. The Isle of Man up ahead. Many a holiday I've spent there over the year. Well, actually I've only had one holiday, I seem to remember. On the Isle of Man, camping holiday. As a child. But all I can remember is lovely weather and seeing Tom O'Connor. He was the He was the big act in Douglas, whatever the big theatre was there for the summer season. It was Tom O'Connor. So that sort of that dates me a little bit. Lovely island, but absolutely beautiful. From what I can remember, I just remember having a very good holiday there, very enjoyable. Lots to do and lots to see. At least as a child, anyway. So there's the remainder of our route. Douglas Airport. You can see this, so that's the main airport on the island. If you're flying in, that's where you're coming to. Turn on the auto brake. I put it on low. Get the arm the speed brake a bit early again, but at least it's done. Decrease our speed a little bit, otherwise we're going to be far too low, far too soon. That's what I like about the 747, at least the Salty Sim edition of it. It has the indicator on the screen, so you can see where you're going to be, where you're when you set your desired altitude, you can see exactly on the map where you're going to be, so you can make changes accordingly to your speed and rate of descent so that you can match that position. With this, it's a bit of guesswork. I think when the LNAV, is it the LNAV? I think it's the LNAV, when that is fully functioning, because most, I think modern aircraft, including this one, the onboard computer will actually bring you in to the waypoints at whatever altitude you're supposed to be at. It'll work out what your rate of descent is and it'll get you there accordingly, but the LNAV on this doesn't work. Or at least it hasn't been modified or the 747 for that matter. But I'm sure that'll come eventually, because these guys are working. They're putting so much effort into this add-on. This is the fly-by-wire edition of the A320, if anybody is wondering. And it's a free download. And you simply download it, you extract the files, because they are in zip form, and you put them into your community folder in your flight sim folder, and that'll modify the default aircraft within Microsoft Flight Simulator, so that you get all the add-ons, all the little additions that just make this a more realistic experience. It's not study level by any means, but it certainly goes a long way into making the aircraft more realistic to fly. Reducing that rate even more. See the Ards Peninsula there. That's Scotland. And view out the window. I think is that the Mull of Kintyre? I'm going to get in so much trouble if my geography's awful. I think it's the Mull of Kintyre. Nope, I told a lie. It's the Mull of Galloway. No, hang on. I can always edit this bit out. Yeah, the Mull of... So that is the Mull of Galloway. I've just checked. Kintyre is further north. I think it's the shortest distance between Scotland and Ireland. And that's where so the other side of that Mull of Galloway is Stranraer, which is where the ferries come into from Larne in Northern Ireland. So yeah, I think that's the shortest route between the two. So that's the opening of Belfast Lock there, and then we travel down into the city airport, and at the top of the lock that's where we make our turn. As you can see on the map, McGee, that's actually Island McGee there, so that's where the waypoint is for turning. Right, let's get our speed down. I've taken over the control of the speed now to get it down to a much more manageable speed for making that turn, and obviously for the descent into Belfast. So we'll bring the stage of flaps up, that will bring our speed down. Of course, Belfast City Airport is also known as the George Best Airport. But I think most people probably refer to it as the City Airport. Quite looking forward to seeing what this new scenery is going to look like, both of the airport and the city itself. We'll have a little look at the the scenery, the Belfast scenery, whenever we've arrived. Now you can see I've activated the landing system. You can see the 2 diamonds on the screen. So we're just getting ready for that turn now, and then we should be able to see, clearly see the runway. See the flashing lights of the runway just over the wing. Oh, we can see the lights of Belfast International Airport there as well. We'll be flying it probably in the next video. We'll be flying either in or out of that, because that's another free add-on. So we'll have a look at what they've done to that airport. Right, here we go. Fingers crossed. Gear down. Final flaps. Get that speed down. As we make our turn up Belfast Lock into City Airport. So I think we're all configured. Everything looks okay. Switch on the localizer, and that will line us up with the, it should line us up with the center of the runway. You can see the lights flashing. Sure, if it isn't Belfast ahead. Reducing that speed to approach and landing speed. when that diamond hits that center line on the right of that display, then we can put on the approach mode. And we should make a nice gentle descent onto the runway, all being well. Okay, approach mode activated. So we're now on the glide slope, which should guide us in to the runway. City looks good. Well, from what I can see so far anyway, it certainly looks like a city to me. It certainly looks pretty three-dimensional. I always get really nervous this part, because you just want to land it properly, I mean without any fatalities, hopefully. So here we go. The frame rate has dropped a lot. I think it's to do with all the add-ons. That's quite a bit of scenery that's been added on, so I'm sure that's memory hungry. It's not quite centered with the runway. I've noticed the approach is off very slightly. Let's see if it corrects itself. I might have to disengage the autopilot very quickly and soon.
400.
Here we go.
300.
Bit high.
200.
Down, down, down.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Oh, blimey. Bit late in landing. It probably in real life that would be a go around. It's a bit late to be landing. You're really outside the touchdown zone, the landing zone. Anyway, reverse thrust on, brakes on. Yeah, it was probably a bit of a late. Oh, look at the cranes. You can see the cranes for the shipyard. Anybody who lives in Belfast will know that iconic view, because those two cranes, Samson and Goliath, absolutely dominate the skyline in Belfast. It's the two prominent things you can see. Okay, so let's have a look at the runway. Now, I can tell straight away the frame rate has dropped hugely, and I imagine it's because it's it's all these add-ons that it's having to find the memory to draw into the game. Speed brakes off. So let's have a look at where we're going to park. Other side of that lorry looks pretty good to me. Let's go in here. Sorry, it's a fuel truck. Let's go in here. This looks like a good place. It's a pretty convincing looking airport. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's free. My goodness, it's memory hungry. It's really having an effect on my frame rate at the minute. That'll do us lovely. Slam on the old brakes. Parking brake on. Turn everything off that can be turned off. External power. I can turn the APU on. Let's have a look, see if there's external power available. I think there is actually. Anyway, let's get all these lights off. Release the passengers. Yep, external power is available, so that's good. Turn the engines off. Bring back the Pushback Helper and push the page up to activate the Pushback Helper. Don't think there's any. No, there's no gate here. But that's pretty. I mean, if I looked at that scene, I would know instantly that that's Belfast, I have to say. But my goodness, it's power hungry. It's memory hungry. That looks amazing, actually. That's pretty good. There's even a big cruise ship. And those hills you would recognize, probably they don't look as high to me as they are in real life, but and there straight ahead, that's the Titanic Center. This of course is where the Titanic was built, and that's the Titanic Exhibition Center just there. And then behind that somewhere should be the Titanic Studios. There we go, that big building there. So that was the studios for Game of Thrones. That's where all the internal studio filming was done. Anybody who's a fan of Game of Thrones. I think they used to build some of the sets in the car park as well. Let's have a look closer to the city. It's very laggy, my goodness. But you can see how much the GPU is trying to draw an entire city. So it's understandable it's a bit laggy. There's the city hall there on the left, just that building with the dome. Okay, so it doesn't do well with close-ups. It looks a bit abstract. It looks like abstract sculptures of some sort, but there's the city centre. That's City Hall. Yeah, that's pretty convincing. If you're flying over that, that certainly looks, it's pretty convincing as a city, and it certainly has the landmarks that make it obviously Belfast. There's the Odyssey Centre there in the centre. That's where There's a lot of ice hockey games go on there, and of course they have concerts and so on. And the River Lagan. And the shipyard, of course. And the two cranes, the Harland and Wolff cranes that dominate the skyline. I like the cruise ship. I think that's brilliant. Anyway, right, we'll zoom out and come back to the city airport, and we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of these, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again sometime soon.